Welcome to Designer Digital's Bi-Weekly Tip, February 9th, 2018. This week, how to make Chevron or Zig-Zag paper from horizontally and vertically striped paper in Photoshop and Elements. This week, we're continuing a series on creatively altering digital papers to expand your design options. Basic digital papers can be converted to achieve more complex designs with easy digital techniques. In this tip, we'll explore using striped papers to design zigzag or chevron papers in Photoshop and Elements. To begin, open a piece of horizontally or vertically striped digital paper. I find that this technique is easiest when you select papers that are evenly striped designs. For the sample, I'm using a striped paper from the Batty Mini Mix by Katie Petite. Press Ctrl-J or on a Mac system, Command-J on the keyboard to duplicate the paper. Now, if you look over in the Layers panel, you'll see that there's one paper on top of another paper. Hide the background layer by ticking the Layer Visibility icon, which looks like a little eyeball on the left side of the background layer. Now select the duplicate layer, which is the top layer, and get the Move tool. Position your cursor over a corner of the paper. Your cursor changes to a curved double-pointed arrow. Holding the Shift key, drag the corner down to turn the paper so that the stripes are diagonal instead of horizontal or vertically aligned, and then tick the check mark to confirm the turn. The check mark will either be in the options bar in Photoshop or down below the image in Photoshop Elements. Next, get the rectangular marquee tool, it's the second tool down, and select the top or turned duplicated layer. Draw out a long, thin rectangle on the turned paper, but be careful not to get any of the transparent section, so go ahead and get your little rectangle out of the center portion of the paper. For the sample, my rectangle is about 1 inch wide by 12 inches long, and I've taken it right from the middle of the paper. Press Ctrl-J or Command-J on your keyboard if you're on a Mac, and this makes the rectangle selection a layer above the paper layer. So if you look in the Layers panel, you'll see you've got the hidden background and then the diagonal paper, and now you've got your little rectangle. Now open a new 12 by 12 inch document. So I'll go to File, New, and I'm going to open a 12 by 12 inch document, 300 pixels per inch. I'm using RGB color mode at 8-bit with a white background, and I'll hit Create. And then I'm going to drag it out of the dock here so that I can see both documents at the same time. In Photoshop Elements, instead of File, New, you'll choose File, New, Blank File. Get the Move tool and then drag the rectangle layer. Remember, we had the rectangle layer at the top of this document, and drag it over to your new document. And then I'm going to move it all the way over to the left side of the paper. At this point, if your paper strip doesn't go all the way from the top to the bottom, you may want to resize it using the corner handles just so that it fills up the entire height of the paper. And then I'm going to minimize this document because we won't need it anymore. Select the rectangle layer and press Ctrl-J or on a Mac system Command-J to duplicate it. And now over in the Layers panel, you'll see you have two rectangle layers above the background on your new document. Select the top layer and choose Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal. In Elements, choose Image, Rotate, Flip Layer Horizontal. Still using the Move tool, drag the layer over to the right until it matches up, making that chevron or mountain design. I'm going to zoom in just so I can see a little bit more clearly what I'm doing, and that looks right. It looks like it's lined up perfectly. And then I'll zoom back out. Holding the Control key, or on the Mac system, the Command key, select both rectangle layers in the Layers panel. Once they're highlighted, drag them to the Create a New Layer icon, which looks like a little post-it note with a turned up corner. What this does is it duplicates both of them. So now you'll have 4 rectangle strips. The top 2 will be highlighted. Hold the Shift key and drag both of those layers to the right until you reach the edge of the second strip. Or you can link them together by clicking the little link icon and then holding the Shift key and dragging over. Continue creating the chevron pattern by control clicking or on a Mac System command clicking the layers and dragging them to the create a new layer icon to duplicate them. Now I'm going to link them and drag them over. Repeat the process until your whole page is full of chevron design patterns. And now I'll drag these over, and that will complete the process. If the pattern doesn't reach the edges of the page because some designs are not even, get the crop tool and draw out a square that crops away any portion of the paper that's not covered with the chevron design. Choose File, Save As, and give your paper a new name, and then save it as a JPEG so that it's flattened and you can use it over and over again. Using this technique, you can make chevron papers from striped papers, which effectively doubles the design options in your striped paper pack. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check back in 2 weeks for the next Designer Digitals tip.